It's political. I mean, it's entirely political. I think we've learned over the past months and year plus that we need to call things for what they are, and this is political. There's no question that James Clapper and others, I mean, Susan Rice was always a political appointee, technically, when she was working for the President of the United States. The others are in different categories. Clapper and Brennan and others, particularly Clapper, have been in the United States military. They have served Democrats. They have served Republicans. And it is only in recent months that they have been extraordinarily political, because they say it's what they see is needed with a president who is not respecting institutions, especially the intelligence community where they worked. Just by way of context, when I say it's political, Michael Flynn was in the intelligence world, in the intelligence community. He headed one of the intelligence agencies, the Defense Intelligence Agency. And after that, he was making money. He still had a security clearance, and he was on the campaign trail saying that Hillary Clinton should be locked up. He didn't get his security clearance pulled by Barack Obama, the then president. And I think if you're looking for something that is kind of the closest to compare it to, it probably would be that. And again, we have not seen any of the individuals that Sarah Sanders put out now on the campaign trail actively campaigning for or against a candidate. Not yet, at least.
So if this is politically motivated, this would be retaliation. Gloria Borger, is this even doable?
I think the president can do what he wants. You'd have to double check me on that. Maybe David would know. But I agree with Dana that it's punishing your critics.
Mark, let me come over to you. Just listening to James Clapper saying, how could it be anything other than political, which is precisely what Dana and Gloria were saying. But ultimately, if the president wants to do it, he's the boss. Mark?
Yeah, he can make the decisions that he wants. If you take these two things separately, monetization and politicization, I mean, if the threshold was you can't make money off your clearance, then a lot of people would have lost their clearance a very long time ago in Washington. I mean, that's pretty common practice. People leave with a clearance, they become consultants, they get jobs, they get lucrative defense contracts. That's par for the course, good or bad, in Washington. So making money on your clearance is not new. So that gets you to the political issue. And as Director Clapper said, he seemed to clearly target the people who have been critics of his publicly, his political critics. There are no doubt others with top secret clearances, high clearances, who retired from the CIA, Pentagon, et cetera, who have been supporters of the president, who are not on the list and maybe never will be.
But to Dana's point off the top about Michael Flynn, I mean, that's a perfect example of someone who served under the Obama administration, was also working through all those, rallies, the lock her up chants, and he never had his security clearance revoked. So how would this...
No,
dare I just ask a simple question? How would this be fair?
Advisor.
Right,
yeah, I mean,
right.
Right. I mean, he became the national security advisor, and now obviously he's got problems of his own, where he's awaiting sentencing by the Mueller investigation. So, clearly there seems to be a double standard here. If in fact it was politicization, acting in a political way, going after political opponents with a clearance, that certainly wouldn't hold true in the Flynn case and other cases.
Okay. I want to move on to Trump and Iran and North Korea and Putin. But Aaron David Miller, do you want to add anything on clearances?
I would only say, Brooke, repeating something you said earlier, this is just another example of the president's inability to find an American national interest and separate out individuals who have served this republic loyally, worked for R's and D's as I have. It's not going to stop them from criticizing the president's lack of judgment and imprudence. And I think in the end, it will come back to haunt the president, because you're going to end up merely adding to the luster of these distinguished civil servants. And access to classified information is, frankly, highly and grossly overrated. It isn't going to silence them. And I think it's going to be revealed for what it is, which is a petty vendetta.